Hey everyone, welcome to the second part of osteogenesis imperfecta. In this video, I will tell you about the classification of osteogenesis imperfecta. Please do check the first part of osteogenesis imperfecta for its introduction, etiology, and general features. So let's begin with classification. David Silence in 1979 classified osteogenesis imperfecta based on the clinical signs. He classified osteogenesis imperfecta into four types, that is type 1 to type 4. But more types were added to this classification later on. So now we have somewhere around 10 classes of osteogenesis imperfecta. Type 1 to type 5 are autosomal dominant, whereas the remaining are autosomal recessive. Most of the cases of osteogenesis imperfecta, that is about 85 to 90% of all the cases, show autosomal dominant mutation for collagen type 1. Let's start with type 1 osteogenesis imperfecta. It is autosomal dominant. The affected gene is called 1A1, so it affects the alpha 1 chain of collagen type 1, and the defect lies in the quantity of collagen. The quality of collagen is more or less normal. It is a mild, non-deforming form of osteogenesis imperfecta. In type 1 osteogenesis imperfecta, fractures are common in neonates, though they are rare before birth or in adulthood. Other features include hearing loss, blue sclera, brittle teeth, or you may say opalescent teeth, and multiple fractures. Next is type 2 osteogenesis imperfecta. This is the most lethal type of osteogenesis imperfecta, and same as type 1, this is also autosomal dominant. The affected genes are called 1A1 and called 1A2. So both alpha 1 and alpha 2 chains are affected, and the defect is in quality of collagen. There is severe deformity of bones, the ribs are beaded, and there are multiple fractures. Bones are poorly mineralized, and also there is a shortening of long bones. Based on its features, type 2 is subdivided into three types. Type 2A shows broad and shortened long bones along with beaded ribs, which are of normal thickness. In type 2B, the long bones are short and broad just like type 1A, but the ribs are thin and little or no beading is seen. In type 2C, the long bones appear long and thin while the ribs are thin and beaded. Next is type 3 osteogenesis imperfecta. It is the most severe type in children. So remember, type 3 is the most severe type in children, while the type 2 is overall most fatal type. Same as type 2, the type 3 is autosomal dominant. The affected genes are both COL1A1 and COL1A2. So both alpha 1 and alpha 2 chains are affected, and defect, same as type 2, is in the quality of collagen. The face of the patients appears triangular. Blue sclera may be rarely seen, so it may or may not be seen. Teeth are brittle and they appear discolored, so opalescent dentine is seen here. Joints are loose and muscle tone is poor. Hearing loss may also be seen in these patients, and it will be seen early in life. Scoliosis, that is abnormal spinal curvature, is also seen. Next is the type 4 osteogenesis imperfecta. Same as type 2 and type 3, it is autosomal dominant. The genes affected are both COL1A1 and COL1A2. So both alpha 1 and alpha 2 chains are affected, and same as type 2 and 3, the defect is in the quality of collagen. Its features are similar to type 1. The bone deformity may range from mild to moderate. and it is the most variable type of osteogenesis imperfecta. So the clinical features will be most variable in this type. The features include, first, macrocephaly, that is an enlarged head. There is easy bruisability, and there is shortening of long bones, and it is more obvious in adulthood. These bones will easily fracture, especially before puberty, and blue sclera is usually not seen. Next is type 5 osteogenesis imperfecta. Again, it is inherited as an autosomal dominant defect, and the gene affected is IFI-TM5 gene, that is interferon induced transmembrane protein 5 gene, and the protein involved is BRIL, which is a bone specific modulator of mineralization. So it is responsible for mineralization, and hence the defect would definitely be in mineralization of collagen. It is similar to type 4 in appearance and symptoms. So just like type 4, blue sclera is usually not seen. The bone appears mesh-like under a microscope, and hypertrophic callus, that is large callus, forms at the site of fracture or at the site of surgery. Also, hypodontia would be seen in this type of osteogenesis imperfecta. Next is type 6 osteogenesis imperfecta. This type is autosomal recessive, and the gene affected is SERPINF1 or Serpin family F member 1 gene, and the protein affected is PEDF, pigment epithelium derived factor. So the defect is in the mineralization of the cartilage. Under microscope, the bone shows fish scale appearance. So while in the type 5, the appearance under microscope was mesh-like, in type 6, the appearance under microscope is fish scale-like. Moderate to severe skeletal defects are seen in this type, and early onset fractures are also commonly seen. Next is type 7 osteogenesis imperfecta, and it shows autosomal recessive inheritance just like type 6. The gene affected is CRTAP, that is cartilage associated protein gene, and the defect is in prolyl 3 hydroxylation. So there is a defect in the hydroxylation of collagen. It is severe to perinatal lethal. So death may occur in the perinatal duration, and about 2 to 3% cases of all the lethal osteogenesis imperfecta belong to type 7. And there is a shortening of long bones along with severe growth deficiency, and popcorn like calcification are seen on the femur head. So this is a new feature which we have not seen so far in any of the types of osteogenesis imperfecta, and the bones in this type are brittle. Next is coxa vara of the femur head. So what it means is that the angle between the head and the shaft of the femur is reduced to less than 120 degrees. So this would result in the leg being shortened, and also there is a development of limp. The sclera appears white or light gray. Next is type 8 osteogenesis imperfecta. Again, it is autosomal recessive. The gene involved is LEPRE1 gene, also known as P3H1 gene. The protein affected is prolyl 3 hydroxylase, and just like type 7, the defect is in prolyl 3 hydroxylation. Again, it is severe to perinatal lethal, just like type 7, and there is a severe growth deficiency. There is bowing of long bones and extreme skeletal undermineralization is seen. Vermian bones, that is intrasutural bones, are also seen. So these are the additional small bones which are found between the cranial sutures of the bones of cranial vault or skull vault. The sclera appears white or light gray. Next is type 9 osteogenesis imperfecta. It is autosomal recessive. The gene involved is PPIB, that is peptidyl prolyl isomerase B, And the protein affected is CYPB, which is a heparin binding protein. And the defect, just like in type 7 and 8, is in prolyl 3 hydroxylation. It is moderate to perinatal lethal, and it corresponds to type 2 or type 3 in features. That is, it is severe. Opalescent teeth may be seen. White or light gray sclera is also seen. The last one is type 10 osteogenesis imperfecta. It is autosomal recessive, and the gene involved is SERPINH1, that is Serpin family H member 1. And the protein affected is HSP47, that is heat shock protein 47. The defect is in collagen chaperoning, and the bone deformities like bowing of long bones and growth deficiency is seen. Multiple fractures are also seen, and sclera appears blue. The face is triangular, and opalescent teeth may also be seen, but they are rare. That's all for now. In the third part of this video, I will tell you about diagnosis of osteogenesis imperfecta. I hope this video was helpful, and if you do like it, please like, comment and share. Thank you.